remember to keep your voice up when you speak, okay? Pull it a little closer to you. And then point it. You can move that, yeah. There you go.
Ma'am, could you give us your full name and spell your last name?
Denise A. Atchison, Atchison.
And your home address, ma'am?
666 North Howard Street, apartment 202, Akron, Ohio, 44310.
At the present time, ma'am, you have a trade, vocation, or occupation.
I'm a retired hairdresser.
And do you know a person by the name of Kenan Ivery?
Yes.
And is Mr. Ivery in the courtroom?
Yes, he
Is
is.
he sitting here at the trial table?
Yes, he is.
All right. What is your relationship with the Ivery family, if any?
I'm Kenan's aunt. My sister is his mother,
And so his mother would be Cynthia?
Cynthia Ivery.
And in terms of the sisterhood, so to speak, how many sisters are there on your side of the family?
7. It's 7 remaining. It was 8, but it's 7 remaining now.
And where do you rank in that?
I'm number 3.
Where's Cynthia?
Cynthia is 4.
Now, in terms of the family dynamic, do you remember Kenan when he was growing up?
Yes, I do.
And what kind of person was he as a young man?
A very, very easy, pleasant person.
So his personality was fairly pleasant.
Yes.
In terms of when he got to be a father, he has some children, is that correct?
Yes, he does.
So they would be your nephews, is that correct?
Yes, they are.
All right. And you recall their names and ages?
Spencer, we call him Spencer Jr. We call him, we don't call him Kenan. He's 14, I believe. He should be 14. And Dominique is 11.
Okay. And looking at this photo up on the screen, you recognize them?
Yes.
And the 2 boys are in that picture?
Spencer is in the picture. And Dominique.
With Dominique. Who's this?
That's Spencer.
All right. Who's this?
That's Dominique.
Okay. Now, have you had a chance to watch Kenan interact with his boys?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Oh, I can't count the times. Family dinners. Our building, we have Fall Fest. We don't call it Halloween, but it's like the Fall Fest that we do every year. This one that's coming up will be Saturday, and they attend all of those. And they attend all the family dinners, and Christmas Eve, they're there.
Do you cook for the family dinners?
Yes, I do.
You're a good cook?
I think so.
All right. You ever cook for Kenan?
Yes, I cook for Kenan.
What's his favorite dish?
Fried chicken.
Okay. Now, to call your attention to about 3.5, 4 years ago, did any dramatic events come to pass in the Ivery family?
Yes, my nephew was murdered.
That would be Henry.
Henry?
And this Henry right here?
That's Henry.
Henry have any children?
Yes, he does.
How many?
He has 3.
Okay. When Henry passed, that family's missing male role model, correct?
Yes.
Did anybody step into that absence?
Yes, their grandfather, Kenan, his uncle, Marlon, 2 uncles, and their father, and Cynthia, everybody.
Right. In terms of Kenan he helped out with that would be his nephew, is that right?
Niece and nephews, yes.
How did he help out?
He helped out in any way that he could. Babysitting, transportation.
Did he step in as if he were the father?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Now, when Henry passed away, was there some sort of, tension in and around his passing?
Yes, it was a lot of tension.
Describe that tension.
Well, the younger generation, Kenan's generation, you know, they talked about retaliating, and the younger generation, they just wanted to see what they can do, find out who did this and what's going on and everything. And Kenan was the main one that told all of that generation, no, we're not going to do this. That would just cause more problems. More people would get hurt. My mom, we already hurting. We don't want to do anything that's going to cause more stress on this family.
How did Henry's passing affect you?
It affected Kenan. He was the baby boy. He was the youngest son, and it affected Kenan and everybody. And then his kids were young. They needed help. The mother needed help with the kids. And they just all took in, and she moved. They had to get her relocated, they shopped for her, just do everything to help her.
Kenan was one of those helpers?
Yes, he was.
In terms of Kenan's mother, your sister Cynthia, how was she affected by Henry's death?
She was affected tremendously, and till this day, it's still there. It's just, it doesn't go away. The hurt, the pain, still missing him.
Ma'am, thank you very much. Prosecutors might have a little review.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You can sit down. Right here. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, consider yourself under oath and have a seat at the end. All right. That's fine.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Hello. Pull that towards you.
No problem.
And remember, even though there's a microphone right there, you still have to project when you speak.
Absolutely. I know how to do that. Not a problem.
Please give us your first, last name. Spell your first name for recording.
My name is Dion Atchison. That's Dionne. Atchison.
And the lady who just testified before you, who is she to you?
She is my mother.
Okay. And this person, Kenan right here, so he would be your
Cousin.
first cousin?
First cousin, yes.
Okay. You grew up in Akron?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go to high school?
Firestone High School,
What year did you graduate?
2004.
And what did you do after high school?
I went to Ohio University for theater performance.
And you did a degree?
Yes, Bachelor's of Fine Arts.
Okay. Where do you currently live?
I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
And what do you do?
I work in a restaurant during the day, but in the afternoon I work with Cleveland Public Theater as a theater artist. I was recently a teaching artist for the Brick City Theater program, and I'm an ensemble member, so I'm an actor.
Your job with up in Cleveland, the teaching part.
Yes, the Brick City Theater program.
Explain to people out there who you work with and what the purpose of doing that.
The purpose of Brick City Theater program was that we went into low-income housing through CMHA, and we would go after school and teach theater, writing, acting, dancing, singing to kids who wouldn't be able to afford those sort of those activities otherwise. And when we're into their community, they're able to share stories, create plays that are their own, that they are able to share. And it's a lot of hard work, but it's definitely worth it to see the community come together.
And the kids that you mainly work with, what is their family situation?
It all depends. Some people just live with their mother. Some just live with guardians, aunts, uncles, grandparents. Some with their dads. It all depends, really.
Is there a lot of absent fathers?
It's a bit of both, really. You can't just say absent fathers and it's absent mothers, but it all depends. But we're there to support the children.
Now, I'm not going to say how old you are, but in regards to Kenan, are you close to his age?
I would say so. I'm
Okay.
just a few years younger.
A couple years younger.
hmm
So you've known Kenan for how long?
My entire life.
And growing up, where did you live in regards to Kenan?
They lived on the west side. We were on the north side. So we were in North Hill. They were on the west side.
Much family interaction between your branch and family and your branch and family?
All the time. I would stay at their house, Auntie Cynthia's house. I would stay at ours all the time.
So there's Kenan, there was Henry, there was Marlon.
And Janae.
Right?
Yes.
And I guess you're probably closest in age to Marlon.
Marlon and Janae, yeah. And, Henry, really, but rest in peace.
What do you remember about Kenan growing up?
Just always looking after us and making sure we were all taken care of. Just being, another big brother. I mean, I had my brother, they were about the same age, so they were looking after us and playing basketball, whatever.
Fair to say that you looked out for the younger kids.
Absolutely, they all did.
Fair to say that you had a special place in his heart looking out for Marlon.
Yeah, for all of them.
Okay.
The whole family, really. That's just pretty much what it is.
Now, do you have children?
No, I do not.
Okay. You know Kenan has children.
Yes, he does.
And you know their names? Do you know their names?
Dominic and Spencer.
Okay. Spencer, Kenan, Spencer.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you move to Cleveland?
I moved in 2009.
Okay. So let's say in the past, well, Kenan's about 12 or 13 in that neighborhood. You've seen Big Kenan interact with Little Kenan for Little Kenan's entire life. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
How would you describe him as a father?
Awesome. Just supportive. The kids.
Awesome.
Just take care of them, supporting them, not just throwing, some fathers throw money at kids and just hope that's the best, but no, every day. He was there every day, making sure not just, he was just an amazing, giving, loving, caring father, and he still is.
Does that surprise you based on how he was big brother?
Didn't surprise me at all. He took care of us. Takes care of everybody. All the other kids did that.
They may have some questions.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You can sit down. You swear to testimony you give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Have a seat right there and consider yourself under oath.
Pull that microphone right down here.
It's pretty good.
Voice, okay?
Okay.
Give us your name, what your last name is.
Kimberly Ann Fisher, Fisher.
And Ms. Fisher, where do you live?
233 Denison Avenue in Akron, Ohio.
That's in Howell?
Yes.
Okay. This,
The love of my life,
what's the name?
Kenan Ivery.
When you first meet you?
When or where?
Both.
I met him on his 22nd birthday. That's February 1st, 2001. We were at a club downtown.
Downtown Akron?
Yeah.
How far?
Well, I was just there with my friends, and next thing I know, this man comes up and he starts dancing with me, and he was cute and he danced good, so we just danced all night long. And then I gave him my phone number, and he called the next. My work schedule and his work schedule didn't coincide, and I also had a 6-year-old son at home that I didn't want to bring a man around that I didn't know.
And that 6-year-old son, his name is?
Forrest.
Okay.
Forrest Fisher.
Now,
He's 21 now.
okay. So at least for the beginning of the courtship, it was by telephone only.
Yeah.
Some point in time, you guys get together.
Yeah, we started dating.
And a couple months after the initial meeting,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
What attracted you to Kenan?
He's funny. He's so funny, and he's friendly, and he's got this nice voice. I love listening to his voice. He has a beautiful smile. He's caring.
Do you eventually, you guys move in together?
Yeah, well, we didn't live together Until after our son was born.
Okay, let's talk about your son. What is his name?
His name is Kenan Spencer Ivery.
Okay, and what do you call him?
I call him Kiki.
Okay, is that pretty much what the family calls him?
Yeah.
They ever call him Little Kiki?
Yeah.
Is Big Kiki?
He's Big Kiki, yeah, to some people.
Kenan Spencer now is how old?
He's 12.
And tell us a little bit about him.
He's smart, and he's sweet, and he's compassionate, and he's funny, and he loves to dance, and that reminds me of Kenan, because Kenan loves to dance.
How, little Kenan, how is he on the athletic field?
He's good. He doesn't have a real aggressive spirit, but he does exactly what he's told, so that makes him excel. He's great at pitching. He's good at all the technical aspects of everything. We just need to work on his aggression.
What sports was he?
Football, basketball, and baseball.
And how did he get involved in these sports?
Well, as soon as he was old enough, we signed him up.
Okay. What kind of student is he?
He's a good student. He's an honors student. Sometimes he gets the merit roll. I think now, with the stress that his little body's under, he's slipping a little bit, but he's still going to be merit roll material.
Okay. Would he ever need help on his homework?
He does need help on his homework, and that's where Kenan came in, because,
Well, that's really my question. Last year, how do you help on his homework?
yeah, I was kind of good at the artsy project types, and Kenan was good at the math and science, because they have a lot of things in common that way.
Now, who is Dominic?
Dominic is Kenan's youngest son.
Now, you are not the mother of Dominic.
No.
Okay. How old is Dominic?
Dominic is 11.
And for a while, in the past, Dominic has lived with you and Kenan, as well as the other, you and Kenan Sr.,
Yeah,
young Kenan,
yeah.
as well as Forrest also.
Forrest and Dominic, yes.
Tell us about Dominic.
What?
Tell us about Dominic.
He's the aggressive one out of the two.
Okay.
His smile lights up the room. He laughs and smiles, and he's smart, and he's sweet, and he loves his brother, and he loves his family. He loves his dad, and he even loves me. Yeah.
I've marked this defense exhibit M and C. You seen that picture before? Okay.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it. Who's this guy?
That's Kiki. That's Dominic.
Kenan says we were talking about.
Yeah, that was their first day of school last year.
How would you describe Kenan's relationship with his kids?
He's very involved. He,
What do you mean? What's that mean?
well, he's all over the homework. School always comes first. He was at every baseball game, basketball game, football game that Kiki ever had. Once Dominic lived with us, Dominic would attend with us as well. In the meantime, he's teaching Dominic how to play football, how to play baseball, how to play basketball. I get to rambling.
Okay. Nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. Kenan has nephews and nieces.
Yes,
Do you know what their names are?
yes.
What are their names?
Henriana's the youngest.
Now, and whose kid is Henriana?
That is his late brother Henry's daughter that he never had the fortune of meeting.
So Henriana was born after Henry was murdered?
Yes.
Okay. Who else?
There's little Cartier, little Henry, and then his sister has a beautiful daughter named Jordan, and then there's Kiki and Dominic.
Okay. And the Ivory family, you've been with Kenan Ivery for how long?
14 and a half years.
So you consider yourself part of the Ivory family?
Yes.
Okay. We've heard from several other witnesses. The Ivory family throws celebrations, correct?
Yes.
Birthdays, graduations, Thanksgivings. It's a tight-knit family, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen how Kenan interacts with his nieces and nephews?
Yes.
Describe that.
What's my name? That's his big thing with the little kids when they first learn how to talk. What's my name? I'm Uncle Kenan. Uncle Kenan. I mean, it's very important for them to know him. He's affectionate with him. He'll carry the babies. He'll feed them. He'll play with them. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let me show you this one, and what you just talked about. What is this a picture of?
That is Kenan feeding Kiki when he was just a baby.
So this picture's full.
This picture's
12,
old.
13 years old.
Yeah, he was probably 5 or 6 months in that picture.
Has big Kenan, from the time little Kenan was born, been there when he had me?
Yes.
Okay. You talked about his relationships with the other kids. You were with Kenan 4 years ago when Henry died, correct?
Yes.
You remember that time?
Yes.
Stressful time?
Yes.
Sounds silly, but absolutely terrible times, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
At that time, Henry had 2 children.
Yes.
And 1 on the way.
Yes.
And then he's gone.
Yes.
Who, if anybody, stepped up to help Henry's, the mother of his children and his children?
Kenan did.
How did Kenan help?
Kenan helped her buy a car.
What else?
Just Christmas, they needed Christmas presents. They needed love and support. I mean, they spent the night at our house the day before the funeral so that we could assist in getting them ready and talking to them and keeping them calm. And he just showed lots of support and lots of love.
So he supported with money, but not just money.
Right. Correct.
He supported them with time, not just time. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And he supported them with attention and affection also. Is
Yes.
that fair?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you what I marked States Exhibit MD. You see that picture before?
Yes.
Hang on a second. Who?
That's little
What
Henriana.
is this right here?
Oh, that's Kenan.
Now what's that?
Little Henriana.
Okay. Henriana is the child that was born after Henry's death.
Yes.
You know what this picture was taken at?
Yes, Kenan and Marlon threw her a first birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese.
So, money, time, attention, whatever he can do to help out Henry's remaining kids, he helped out with.
He did.
Okay. Show you one more picture. This is Defense Exhibit MF.
That was, little Kiki's 5th grade graduation.
That's little Kiki and you and Kenan?
Yes,
Proud day for everybody?
yes. He got certificates for his, citizenship and his good grades. And then we went to the Chinese buffet afterwards, because that's his favorite thing to do, Kiki's.
Okay. And I noticed that when you came in here, you use a cane.
Yes.
Why is that?
I have a condition that's hereditary. My mom and my grandpa and his dad, and it's called familial spastic paraparesia.
Do you know how to spell that?
Yes.
Help her out spell
FAMIAL, familial spastic. Can you get that one? Paraplegia, PAPAR. Oh my gosh, now I'm under pressure. RA. No, I think it's PLIGA or something like that. I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Familial spastic paraplegia.
Okay. What is that?
It's a neuromuscular disorder that over time it progressively gets worse.
I understand it's hereditary, correct?
Yes, it's hereditary.
Your mother has it?
Yes.
Your grandfather has it?
Yes.
Okay. When were you diagnosed with it?
When I was 40, I noticed that I was not getting any better after breaking both of my legs back to back. So then I started going to the neurologist, and they did all the testing to basically rule out that it's anything else.
Okay. Now you do this, you said you were 40. How old are you now?
43.
Okay. So for the past 3 or 4 years or so, you've had this, correct?
Yes.
And you've seen what it does to your mom, correct?
Yes.
What kind of condition is your mom at the time?
My mom is currently in a wheelchair, and lately she's starting to lose her voice.
Is that because of that disease?
Yes.
Okay. And this is progressive, correct?
Yes.
So it gets worse as time goes on.
Yes.
And you understand what you face, correct?
Yes, I grew up with it with my grandpa and then with my mom, so it's not unfamiliar to me or my children.
Does it make, in the past 4 years that you've had this, did it make activities of daily living difficult?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, I can't stand for longer than 10 minutes, and I really can't sit longer than half an hour because I just get very stiff. I have 0 groceries and carry some laundry up and down the steps, and I just don't feel good. If the kids need to go somewhere, he would do that for me.
Okay.
I'm not out for the count yet, but some days I just don't feel good.
Okay. You know,
Kenan is a good man. He's a sweet man. He's very funny, and he is a great father. I always explain how I feel about my firstborn son is how he feels about little Kenan. I mean, it's his first love. And I don't want Kiki to not have a father, you know. I will take him, or his family will make sure that he can see his dad once I can no longer get around. I want him to have a father that he can talk to about, I mean, he's going to be 13 years old. He's going to need to know things I can't tell him. And I want his dad to be there to do that for him. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fisher.
Hi.
We've met before, correct? We talked before the trial phase began. You came to our office for an interview, is that correct?
Correct.
I want to go over some of the background that you discussed on direct examination. And Ms. Fisher, if I understand correctly, you and Mr. Ivery were dating, or have been dating for 14 and a half years, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know each other, or were you when you talked about the date that you met, what date was that?
It was his 22nd birthday, February 1st, 2001.
And how long after that did you start dating?
I didn't see him actually physically for another 3 months.
And when did you start living together?
After our son was born.
And and that would be Kenan Spencer Ivery, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's his date of birth?
11/8/02.
And have you been together with Kenan ever since then?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that during this time period, these 14.5 years, you know Kenan as good, if not better, than anyone else? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you indicated that you presently live, what is your address presently?
It's 233 Denison Avenue in Akron.
And prior to this incident, the shooting at Papa Don's, did Kenan Ivery live with you at that residence?
Yes.
How long had you lived together?
At that residence? Maybe 2 years. We lived in Ella previously, and then we just moved into this house. It's been almost 3 years.
Was there a period of time you lived at 1650 Copley Road?
No.
Where did you live prior to the Denison Avenue?
147 Wolf Avenue.
And during that time, how long did you live on Wolf Avenue?
Maybe 6 years.
And during that time, did all the children live with you?
During that time, it was just my son Forrest, Kiki, myself, and Kenan.
Okay, what was the arrangement with Dominic?
Dominic lived with his mother.
And what's her name?
Sonia McWilliams.
So if I start talking to you about something that occurred back in January, specifically January 29th of 2011, you would have lived on the Wolf Avenue address, is that correct?
Correct.
And you would have had Spencer or Kiki living with you at that time?
Yes.
And in January of 2011, how old would he have been?
9.
9?
Yeah.
Dominique would have been how old?
8, 7 or 8. They're like a year and a half apart, exactly.
And I'm going to direct your attention specifically to January 29th, 2011, and do you recall the police coming to the residence and requesting to search the house?
Yes.
And do you recall specifically in the master bedroom, which I assume is the bedroom that you shared with Kenan, is that correct?
Yes.
They recovered 4 razors, baggies, a plastic tray with cocaine residue, scale with cocaine residue, spoon, a spoon with cocaine residue, and baking soda.
From my bedroom, I do not recall that.
Do you recall if they found drugs in the residence on that occasion?
They said they did.
And do you recall if it was cocaine that they said they had located?
Well, what I recall precisely is there was a little piece of something on the floor. They picked that up and said it was crack, which I thought it was sidewalk salt.
And ultimately, he was charged and convicted from that incident of illegal assembly or possession of chemicals for the manufacturing of drugs. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
They also, in that search, found in the dresser in the master bedroom an Uzi submachine gun, did they not?
Yes.
And that Uzi submachine gun had a magazine with 28 rounds and was capable of holding 30 rounds. Did you know that?
No, not particularly.
Judge, who voted for this?
Identification purposes, it states Exhibit M1. Ask you if you recognize that photograph.
Yeah,
What do you recognize that to be?
it's a gun that was at my house.
The Uzi submachine gun that was being kept in the house, is that correct?
Yes.
And you put it on the docket here. That's the jury. And so I understand this Uzi submachine gun loaded with 28 rounds was being kept in the house, and Kenan Spencer Ivery was approximately 9 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this Uzi submachine gun was being kept in the house when Dominique was 7 or 8 year old. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the paraphernalia and the little bit of what you were told were drugs were also in the house at the same time, correct?
Yes.
And whose items did these belong to?
They were not mine.
And who was the only other adult living in the house at the time?
Kenan.
And ultimately, he was convicted of having weapons under disability for that Uzi submachine gun. Is that correct?
Correct.
How long had that Uzi submachine gun been in the house? And, and were you aware that prior to your relationship, on March 9th of 1999, Kenan Ivery was convicted of a felony possession of cocaine?
No, I was not aware.
Had he told you when you guys first started dating and living together that he had been convicted of possession of cocaine?
I don't recall a conversation of that nature.
Is that something that would have stood out in your mind, that someone you're seeing
I'm
has
sure
been,
it probably would.
but you don't believe he ever revealed that to you?
I don't recall a conversation like that, no.
But you do recall that he was convicted in 2002 for cocaine, 2007 for trafficking in cocaine, and you were actually present in the home when that Uzi as well as the drug paraphernalia were located.
Yes.
Henry's murder, do you know the exact date?
It was December 11th. Was it 2012? 2011.
2011.
Okay.
And the conviction in regards to the Uzi and the drug paraphernalia, he was ultimately sentenced on December 7th of 2011. Do you remember that happening just a couple days
Yes.
prior to the murder?
Yes.
And was Kenan out during that time, or was he released at all, or was he incarcerated from that point on?
He was home.
He was home. I mean, he
Well,
was sentenced.
I just know he was home. We were home sleeping when we got the phone call that Henry had been killed.
Do you recall, since he was sentenced on December 7th, and this would have been 4 days later, and he's sentenced to 2 years in prison, do you recall why he was home at that point?
He was home.
How long was he home until he had to go to prison?
I think he left like 3 weeks later after the funeral and the New Year's Eve. He left right after New Year's.
And how long was he gone for?
A year, I believe.
Now, during that 14.5 years, Kenan Ivery has not held a steady job. Is that fair to say?
Well, he did have a job when we met, but that was the last steady employment.
And are you familiar with how he made a living from that point on?
Yes.
And how did he make a living from that point on?
He was made more of a living on the streets, I'll put it that way.
Was it illegal living on the streets?
No.
He was not engaged in illegal activity on the streets.
No.
He was not involved in dealing drugs.
Oh, yes.
So you were aware that he was dealing drugs?
Yes.
And was that for the majority of the time that you were together for 14.5 years?
Yes.
And was Kiki aware of that?
No.
What about Dominique?
Dominic, no, I don't believe so.
But it's fair to say that at some point, at least in 2011, he's keeping some of these drug paraphernalia, some of the drugs in the house, correct?
Yes, they found it in the house.
Ms. Fisher, you were also familiar with a gun that Kenan Ivery possessed in the week prior to the shooting of Papa Don's, were you not?
Yes,
And tell me how you're familiar with that weapon.
I saw it in our room, and I said, Kenan, you've already gotten in trouble for having a gun. I don't want that in the house. And then I didn't see it anymore.
And would that have been just a couple days prior to the shooting?
I'd say within a week.
And had you seen that firearm prior to that time period?
No, I saw it one time. Probably 12. He probably just turned 12. No, 11. I don't know. 11.
And he was attending school at this time period?
Yes.
What grade was he in?
He was in the 6th grade.
And this gun that you just see, I'm assuming then you didn't have to pull anything out or move anything, you just saw it laying there, is
Yes.
that correct? And what did it look like?
It was black and shiny.
Let me show you now for marks for identification purposes, the state exhibit M2, and ask you if you recognize that photograph.
Yes.
What do you recognize that photograph to be?
A gun that was on my thing in my room.
Listen back to the jury then, putting on state's exhibit M2, that's the gun that you just saw laying on a container in your room.
Yeah, we were both in the room. I came into the room and it was laying there.
But you had not seen that firearm prior to that day, is that correct?
No.
Do you recall the police, after the shooting of Papa Don's and the death of Justin Winebrenner, do you recall the police having you come over to the police department and questioning you about the gun and other things?
Yes.
And do you remember them asking, do you know why he got the gun?
Particularly, no, I don't remember that question.
Do you recall replying, no, I don't, when asked, do you know why he got the gun?
I believe I probably did say that.
And is that true as far as your recollection of asking him about the gun as to, or not having any idea why he had a firearm at that time?
Well, I didn't get into it with Kenan. I just said you need to get it out of the house.
But you've been living with him for 14.5 years. Obviously, he was away for one period of time.
Right.
Based upon you knowing him as good or better than anybody else, at that point, you have no idea why he has a gun, correct?
My mindset was it was as far as I went with it.
That's as far as you knew, correct?
Right.
Do you know drug dealing to be a dangerous business?
Yeah, I assume it is.
Dominique then would have been born while the two of you were living together, is that correct?
Yes.
But that was with another woman, correct?
Yes.
And do you recall during that interview with the police being asked whether you would have, whether you knew that he was hitting on other women that night? And you indicating that that wouldn't surprise you at all?
Yes.
The evening of November 15th, you went to the fundraiser for the football team?
Yes,
Kenan, is that correct?
yes,
And do you recall parents were allowed to bring alcohol, their own alcohol if they wanted, and they had some alcohol there as well?
yes,
And do you recall Kenan bringing Syrah vodka?
yes,
And do you recall him drinking it there at the fundraiser?
yes.
And do you recall telling the police that you thought he was drunk when he left that fundraiser?
I know I was, but I can't recall if I thought Kenan was. Well, whenever we would drink, it would be when the kids were gone or in the bed.
And you indicated that you were aware that he did engage in selling drugs, being a drug dealer, correct?
Yes,
And that occurred, he was engaged in that prior to Henry's death in December of 2011?
yes,
And that occurred after his death and prior to the shooting at Papa Don's?
yes, I assume so.
Just 1 minute, Your Honor. Open the clock.
The things that he did, Kenan, good or bad, the things that he hid from you,
What was
are
that?
there things that he did that he hid from you?
Oh, yes,
And were there things that he did that he, and you heard the prosecutor talk about the various prior convictions, correct?
yes.
Did you hear any?
So should we wait behind the fact that Kenan Ivery has gone to prison for a year with kids for drugs?
I'm very well aware of that.
I guess the question is, were you able to hide that from your children?
No,
Did they know that he went to prison for drugs?
I don't have to be able to move.
Testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, consider yourself under oath, and let us be right there.
Ma'am, would you give us your full name, please?
Pull that microphone right in front of you, and then point it towards your mouth. There. Then remember when you speak to speak up loudly, okay?
Yes.
Very good.
And your full name,
Cynthia Dolores Ivory,
your address, ma'am?
406 Grand Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 443. I'm his mother.
Ma'am, with respect to your marriage, you were married to Henry Ivery,
Yes.
and how many children did you have as a result of that marriage?
4.
And their names, please?
Kenan Ivery, which is my firstborn. Marlon Ivory, which is my secondborn. And Henry Ivory, which is my third son. And Janae Ivory, which is my only daughter.
we've heard testimony that Henry passed away, is that correct?
Yes,
Henry had some children, how many?
at the time, in the night he got killed, he had a 2.5-year-old. He had a 5-year-old. I didn't find out until the night he got killed. There was another one on the way. And she's a little girl. She was born the following year.
Mrs. Ivory, you lost Henry by how long? The effect that it had on you.
I was devastated. I got this call from one of my friends. And she said it was a child, and he dies before you do. And that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I was visiting another friend who died, who was on her deathbed, and I didn't give Henry a call. Oh, it was hard. I just wanted to die myself. I was tired of the heartache and pain. That's why I know how the Winebrenners feel, that pain. And my heart goes out to all of you. You will never get over it, but you'll try to figure a way to get through it. I am so sorry for all this pain. I have been hospitalized 3 times. It's a lot. I thought losing my job in 2010 after 20 years and the company closed. And then the following year, my son got killed, which is my baby boy. And then in 2014, November the 16th, there was a terrible tragedy, and it was very devastating. And it's been hard ever since. I used to say, the Lord don't give you no more than you can bear. But I don't know. I cried on many nights. And to lose a child, I know it hurts in here. You can be dressed on an auto. You can go places and you just miss their smile. You hear their voices. You break down and you cry. And Henry back, I was. And I spent so many nights tormenting over this. You love your children, even if they've done wrong. I'm a mother and I'm a mom. And if some of you know about that, you love your children unconditionally. I am very, 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 very sorry for all of this. I am left to take care of Henry's 3 children, my family and I. Henry's 3 children count on us. And I know I talked to Henry and I said, Henry, I will make sure that we look after your children. And now I got to say the same thing for Kenan's 2 children, that we will look after them the best way we know how.
If you need a Kleenex, Ivery, with respect to Kenan, how was he as a father to his two kids?
Kenan is a good father. He loved those boys. He was very involved in the different sports. He used to play for football. I didn't want Kiki to play football because it's such a contact sport. But that's what his mom and dad wanted. And Dominic, I'm raising Dominic now because the family don't want him. Kenan had him before this incident happened.
You're attempting to take custody of Dominic, is that right?
Yes,
The courtroom down the hall?
yes.
Mrs. Ivory, do you have anything that you want to say to the jury?
I've been praying and asking God and the courts to have mercy on my child. I cannot handle losing another child. I love him. Please have mercy on my child. In any way, if you are a mother, you will understand. I hope you guys understand. I've been having anxiety attacks, dreading to come here and speak among you guys.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ivory. The prosecutor may have a quote.
Okay, Ms. Ivory. They don't have any questions. We're gonna take a break now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm gonna ask you to remember all the admonitions. And I'm gonna ask you to step back in the jury room, and we'll have you back in here in 15 minutes. All right? Is that your last witness for today?
That's correct.
All right, well, we'll tell them when they can start the break. We probably won't bring them back out here, we'll release them, but we'll let them take a break.
That's fine.
All right, and then, I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow morning is, because we have to do that voir dire of Dr. Fabian, is we're gonna have the jury come in a little later, have the lawyers be here at 9, we'll have him hooked up at 9, we'll be able to do that, and then maybe I'll have them come in at 9:30, and we'll probably go on the record out there at about 9:45. And we're gonna be in Judge O'Brien's courtroom, just for the audience, just for this teleconference witness, and then we'll break after him and we'll come back here for the rest of the proceedings. Okay, so we won't get started till about probably 9:30, 9:45.
But the lawyers will be here.
The lawyers need to be here at 9, okay? All right, thank you. I'm just going to release them.